and welcome to another live episode of the 7 Secrets to Next Level Freedom video series. And here we are with secret number 4 today. And in this video today, we are going to be talking about the number 1 block that is holding you back from more freedom and peace, and the common mistake that I see a lot of people make who are on a spiritual path, and what to do instead so you don't get stuck. So before we dive in today, I really want you to get clear around what next level freedom is for you. You know, is it that feeling of being unencumbered and lighter? Is it that feeling of just having ease and being able to relax and just be you? Like, what is freedom for you? Is it being able to not be obsessed, not feel anxious, just feel calm and comfortable in your own skin? You know, it's so important to really get clear on that, because when I talk with folks about what freedom really means for them, what I hear are the effects of what it is when you are just comfortable being you. You're authentically you, you're aligned in you, and you're not obscured from any part of yourself. You're able to just be all of you and be okay being all of you. And that is absolute freedom. And so what actually gets in the way? What blocks us from being able to have that kind of freedom where we can just be ourselves? We know that we're going to be okay no matter what. What gets in the way of that? Well, this is something that I realized on my own path, and just in witnessing and working with so many hundreds of people over the last 10 years, I really have seen the common themes. And what I would say is the biggest block that is holding us back from that next level of freedom is the stuff that's weighing heavy on our hearts. So here's the thing, is that we have blame and shame and grief and resentment and anger and fear and all this stuff that's weighing heavy on us. And you can imagine, in the last video, we were talking about really reconnecting with your inner guidance system, really reconnecting with that trifecta of trust that you have going on inside of yourself. So you can trust yourself to make healthy choices. You can really find that guidance and that direction from within, instead of having to look outside of you for the answers. And that is wonderful. But what I find is that if we have stuff that's weighing heavy on our hearts, it actually blocks our ability to access truth. And so if we're blocked from the ability to access truth, then you can trust all day long, but if there's a part of you that's like fearing that, or not trusting it, or doesn't really have the lens on truth because the way that you're seeing things is through the lens of fear or delusion, then it's going to continue to keep you blocked. It's going to continue to keep you held hostage from actually being free and having that peace of mind. And so what I really want to support you around today is what to actually do so that you can move past that. And I'm going to share with you what common mistake I also see a lot of folks on a spiritual path make, so that you can avoid making this mistake and really get on that path that's going to help you to move forward. So before I do that, I just have to share, because this is, we can talk about the stuff that's weighing heavy on us, and we can talk about those things, and it's all good and nice to say, oh, okay, well, I've moved past all of that. Well, stuff comes up all the time, right? And so it's important to have a process, to have a system, to have a go-to strategy that will allow you to continue to move through this stuff. Just the other day, I got so angry. Like, when that anger happens, and you immediately go from like 0 to 60, and it's like the frustration and the rage and the judgment and the how dare they and who do they think they are and I can't believe it, and like righteous indignation and all the things. Like, I was completely, like, I literally went from just like 0 to absolutely judgmental, resentful, all that kind of stuff. And this stuff happens, right? So we can be going along in life and we can be feeling, you know, free and fine and whatever, or maybe just kind of not really free, but maybe just like kind of just keeping it together. And then one thing will happen and it will just completely take us, and that will just completely cut us off. And so I'm so grateful, you know, that what I'm going to share with you today is what I personally use that allows me to continue to move through an active process that helps me to clear all of that so that it doesn't stay in my system, and I can really realign with that vibration of freedom. So thank you so much for those of you who are tuning in live today. This is really great. It's great to have you, and I welcome your questions. And I also welcome your comments around what real freedom looks like for you. Like what freedom, like in a couple of words, what having freedom means for you, what having next level freedom means for you, or what having freedom means for you, maybe in a word or a couple of words. Would love to hear that piece. As I go into the common mistake that I see so many spiritual folks making that really, really keeps them stuck. And I so relate to this. So I'm saying this with like such a compassionate heart and such a like just an empathizing heart, because I really, really get it. And it is this. It is the, like, when you get irritated or slighted or irked or whatever, it's that reaction of, I'm just going to let it go. I'm just going to let it go. They can't do any better. I'm just going to send them love. And all those things sound really good. But here's the thing, is that what it does is it takes us into an aspect of bypassing the pain, bypassing the resentment, bypassing the judgment. We kind of try to override it and go into an over-mentalized way of like trying to do the thing that we know spiritually is what we're supposed to do. And so you can imagine we have this kind of stuff that's on our heart, and what we do is we just sort of like bypass it and try to go up here and intellectualize, like spiritually muscle our way into having freedom or having peace around it. And we might be able to delude ourselves enough that like we kind of push it out of our minds, like, oh, I got over that. But oftentimes there is still a deeper level of judgment. There's still a deeper level of righteousness. There's still a deeper level of resentment, because anger that doesn't get addressed turns into resentment. And those things will just kind of stay under the surface, and they might not create a huge ripple initially, but over time, they're going to rear their ugly heads, or they're going to start to push up against your own inner experience. And that's what starts to create an incongruence inside of ourselves, where we kind of detach our mind from our heart and from our gut, and we start operating in more of a compartmentalized way. And that actually really, really blocks us from that next level of freedom. And so what I want to just shift and share with you is that in order to not go down that path and stay in that perpetual cycle of being blocked and being held hostage from freedom, what we really, really need to do is we really need to deal with what is real. This is the great, big, huge thing. So we've got to deal with what is weighing heavy on our hearts. That stuff that is happening, that stuff that you thought that maybe you dealt with in therapy many years ago, or that you thought that you were just over because you don't think about it anymore, or whatever it is. And as I say this, I really want to be clear. I don't mean that you have to go back to therapy, or that you have to spend the rest of your life trying to fix yourself, or do a bunch of self-help work and figure out what's wrong and that something's wrong with you. I don't mean any of that. In fact, all of that self-helpy type stuff, or all of that, psychological approach type stuff, usually what that does is that helps us to get more insight about what the issues are, but it doesn't always actually clear it. In my personal experience, when I was in therapy and things like that, I got a lot of clarity, and I had a deeper understanding of where my problems rooted from or where they came from, but I was still sitting with them. I still had the same fears. I still had the same delusions. I still had the same baggage and the same stuff. I just was more aware of my stuff. And so I'm really in the business of let's actually clear that from you so that you can get free and clear, and that you can go on to have that peace of mind, to feel lighter, to shine your light, to be authentically all of you. That is what freedom really, really is, in my opinion. And so I just want to leave you with a couple of tips to help you on that path. And of course, for those of you who are coming to the Freedom Embodied Live event, we are going to be going a bit deeper into this, because as you can imagine, this is a big part of your path of that next level of freedom that I really want to support you around. So if you haven't gotten your ticket for that, you can still get your ticket for that. You can just head to freedomembodied.live. I will put the link in the comment section. But I'll leave you with some tips right now, since we're here today together. And that is, the first thing that you really want to do is you want to inventory all of the things that are weighing heavy on you. And what's really important about inventorying this, it's like such a delicate line, because we don't want to get into the analysis or the make wrong or any of these things. And it's really important that you look at certain key elements. So there's key elements that you want to look at when you are doing an inventory. And the next part of that is, and this is just what I recommend, because just from personal experience, when I've done that before and haven't had support or guidance in doing that, I get stuck. I get stuck and I start to get mired in the mess of all the things that I'm looking at. And it starts to get really overwhelming, and I start to get really discouraged because I'm looking at all my crap and all the things that are going on, and it's just like it becomes too much. And so the next part of that, what I would recommend is to get some support or guidance to really help you to move through that, to help you to anchor into the place to come from as you are diving into that, so that you are held in a deeper level of truth, and you're not just, diving into, like going soul spelunking into all of your deepest, darkest stuff, and then just getting like stuck in there and not knowing how to get out. So that's really, really important. And then I would say the third part of that is to really move through a deep clearing and alchemizing process. Because again, this is not self-help. This is not just looking at your problems and trying to figure it out, or trying to fix or change the behaviors, like saying, oh, well, I'm really selfish. I'm going to try to be really generous, and I'm going to, pay for the person's coffee behind me at Starbucks, and, like that kind of stuff. Like that's really sweet, but that's not actually getting to the heart. That's not going to free you. And so the only thing that I've seen that actually frees us is doing a deeper alchemizing, clearing process that allows you to get free and clear of those things. It just allows those things to be removed from you, so that it's no longer obscuring you. And you can imagine, like I'm pointing so much to the heart right now, because this is so true, because we're talking about, in the last video, we were talking about really trusting your gut. And then as you get free and clear here, it gets to pass all the way up, and you get to, from that place, you get to then be authentically you. You get to see the truth. You get to voice your truth. You get to have that peace of mind, and you just get to shine your light. All that stuff opens up on the other side of you getting free of the things that are weighing heavy on your heart. So I hope that video was valuable for you. Again, if you have questions, please post a comment in the comment section, or if you have a comment about this video, I'd love to know what the biggest takeaway was for you. And again, if you haven't gotten your ticket for Freedom Embodied Live, we have still some early bird tickets at freedomembodied.live. You can come check that out. We're going to be definitely going deeper into this stuff and doing more of those tools that I was talking about at the very end. So thanks again for tuning in today, and I will connect more with you next time. Bye for now. Mwah.